Dairy Queen, a clear mastery of all things dessert, but the fried foods underwhelmed me.
A bathroom so strange I thought it was designed by David Lynch, but an exterior so disheveled and abandoned looking I had to get out of the car to make sure it was even open.
A staff member who essentially turned fast food into full service, but the sign that said DQ Cakes misled me as it had nothing to do with asses. We drove almost an hour away to eat at the nearest DQ Grill and Chill to try their burgers. While they certainly excel at dairy, have they mastered the whole cow? Today, we dive into everything good about eating at a Dairy Queen before covering the not good to see if they're in balance in an effort to locate the definitively average chain restaurant. This is the Fine Dining Podcast.
Your table is ready. Take a seat. The flavor of the day is mediocrity. Wouldn't you like to try a bite? Guarantee it'll be the perfect bite. Fine dining. Better than you thought, worse than you hoped. Fine dining. We don't treat mediocre as a joke. Ranking every single place we've been. Looking for the perfect 5 out of 10.
Hello, and welcome back to the Fine Dining Podcast, the search for the most mediocre restaurant in America. I'm your host, Michael Ornelas, and this is the show where I'm looking for the precisely in-the-middle dining experience, the perfect 5.00 out of 10, because only once you know what's directly in the center can you tell what's not good or good by comparison. The current point of comparison, Cracker Barrel, which sits oh so close to the throne of ordinariness at the center of the tchotchke of mediocrity with a 5.01 out of 10. Can we find the restaurant that will be used as the litmus test of adequacy for generations to come? And will it be Dairy Queen? Joining me today to discuss Dairy Queen Grill and Chill's merits as a restaurant, once again, is writer-director Tyler Eaton, whose independent comedy horror film Mysterious Ways will be available any day now on YouTube, Amazon, Google Play, Apple TV+, and Tubi. Tyler, welcome back.
Michael, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure sitting here for a full week with you in your beautiful studio here.
You're getting stinky.
That's how he greeted me as I walked in.
I just went stinky. And he was like, do I smell? I was like, I don't know.
I just took a shower
I'm
right
not
before.
Close enough to know definitively.
I walked through a little bit of the rain, which we desperately needed in LA.
And that's what I assumed. White people smell like rain.
It's acid rain in LA right now, by the way. It's like toxic, dirty rain. But
so I just assumed rain on top of
my natural odor.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure regardless.
Yeah, it has. I've been breathing through my mouth this whole time to not smell the fumes. Guys, he smells fine. There's no odor.
Thank you for the clarification.
I do want to clarify this is a bit, and Tyler does not stink to my knowledge. Maybe if I got closer, I would know more, but from this distance, you're fine.
This is a safe distance.
Okay, so we're going to dissect Dairy Queen Grill and Chill. And we're going to talk about all of the good, all the not good, all the things that are just there. And then come to a number. We'll have some laughs along the way. You ready to dive in?
I am so ready.
All right, let's talk about all the things that are good.
This is the good, done like it should be. The stuff that's finger licking, a stick in the landing. This is the good, I knew that you could. This is the good.
All right, the blizzard, come the F on.
It's why I wanted to go there.
It's so perfect.
It reconnected me with my youth. These road trips, Oreo blizzards were exactly what I got.
We split an Oreo blizzard. She brought it out with one spoon, did the flip, but you kind of did it like in the, what's that dance move where people, you know what I'm.
Oh yeah. I forget what it's called.
Whatever that is, but like the little flip, the
doorknob twist. I think
the doorknob twist.
Yeah.
The you're not welcome here.
I'm not welcome in this dance move.
The lock the deadbolt move.
Yeah. Sorry. Don't trust you.
But like brought the blizzard over the table, did a quick flip, just like I'm obligated, throws it on the table, and then one spoon. You asked for a second spoon.
Yeah, instantly was like, how much germs are we going to be sharing?
Here's the
back
thing:
and forth?
once you eat something on a shake and you put that spoon back in, it's already swimming in it.
Yeah,
but I still like the detachment of like we're not Lady in the Tramping it.
Right. I'm still, which
you did suggest
mention we could do with the banana split.
Do we want to slurp it off the same spoon?
Yeah, no, I wanted to bond with you, but not quite that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the Oreo Blizzard is like the creme de la creme of Dairy Queen treats, in my opinion.
It is.
And it's my favorite flavor.
I usually go, like, anytime somewhere has a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup option, that's usually what I go for. Something about the Blizzard Oreo is what's calling me.
The peanut butter's good.
I imagine
like
it
my
is.
second choice.
I imagine it is. Yeah.
But it hit the spot. It's the first thing we had. And I love to start a meal with dessert.
Because they brought it out first.
Yes, and I'm fun.
I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. What's the knock against it? Is there any reason to subtract points from the Blizzard?
I had to share it with Michael.
That's circumstance.
Yeah, no, 10 out of 10 for me as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I wrote down 9 out of 10, but like it has lived with me for the last day in a way to where I'm like, no, I want more of it, and like I want it soon.
We didn't finish it, but that was only
was caloric
preserve caloric control. Yes.
I am back on Weight Watchers, so it's like you can eat 2 bites of this, and then because I think I told you I was like, done. If I eat half of this, that's half my points for like the week or whatever.
Yeah.
It's very dense.
You can have 3 meals or
calories.
1 Blizzard from Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was definitely a good. Do you have a good thing you want to bring? You liked the Lynchian bathroom. Let's talk about it.
The bathroom was fascinating. David Lynch just passed away like a week ago, so he's been very top of mind for me. Just like anything odd or like the thing that hit me was I walked in the bathroom and the toilet was just extremely far away. Like the bathroom seemed to have been not a bathroom, maybe like a storage closet or something before.
It's like the intro scene for Dennis Quaid in The Substance.
Yes, exactly.
You have to walk all the way across this room and then smush your face against the wall.
But I did wash my hands, unlike that character.
Yeah.
That's how you know he's the villain. He didn't wash his hands. I think I had to take 8 steps to get to the toilet. Like it's like 25 feet from the door. Yeah.
I didn't even know the building was that deep.
I think the building is longer and bigger in sort of a liminal space in the bathroom area. It's like, yeah, you don't see how much space there is from the outside of the building, but it is larger sort of supernaturally.
I do just love that this is a thing you're chalking up as a positive. I think at best I'd put it as a neutral.
Nope. I like a weird bathroom.
Yeah. But I mean, like, if it does make me think of David Lynch, that does scratch a positive itch. He is my favorite director.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Favorite all time. What's your favorite of his movies?
I like Fire Walk with Me because of the way it fits into the Twin Peaks franchise. I think the 3rd season, The Return, is maybe my favorite single piece of media ever created.
Wow.
As far as movies go, I love Mulholland Drive. I love Wild at Heart.
I've still not seen Wild at Heart, so maybe we'll watch that soon.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, David Lynch just ruled. He was a true artist, in it for the right reasons. And we saw him today in that Dairy Queen bathroom.
His spirit is in many, many Dairy Queen bathrooms, probably all around the country.
The guy loved like ice cream milkshakes, Americana, like all that.
Bob's Big Boys. There's like
I went. There's a shrine.
I need to go.
It was like they quoted an hour-long wait just to get a table on a Monday.
Wow.
In the middle of the day.
And everyone was ordering like a coffee and milkshake.
Well, it's fries and a chocolate milkshake.
Fries and chocolate milkshake.
But no, I got pancakes, so it's just like I'm in the place. I don't need to get the thing that he got. But
fix your hearts or die, everybody.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Yeah,
I love that guy. Yeah. Cool. The next, I love the flip cup flex. I'm gonna say like that. I wrote as its own positive, just like coming over, and then I got all goofy with it, like whoa, tempting fate.
Yeah. And it worked every time. Like I thought like this might sploosh out at some point. I don't know how like foolproof this thing is.
And I kept pushing like this time I'm flipping it for a full second. This time I'm flipping it for a second and a half, 2 seconds. Oh, it's not sliding. Okay.
I wonder what the record is. Like has anyone just held it upside down and just to see if it can go for like 30 seconds?
It also feels like the type of thing where if you give the cup even a little squeeze,
it's out.
It's gone. You lose that like that hold. I don't know what the physics term would be, but like that certain type of hold that it would have.
Right.
On the
Yeah.
edges.
I have no idea what word that is, but I know what you mean.
Fluid dynamics feels relevant here.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
The seventh law of thermodynamics.
I think the server we had was fantastic.
I was going to say, that's my next positive thing.
And calling her a server is almost accurate. Usually it's just a cashier, an order taker at a fast food restaurant. Because we just go up to a counter, we order. She had a Boo from the Mario franchise, the Ghost sweatshirt on.
So you know she's a good time. You asked a lot of questions about the menu.
Asked a lot of questions. I warned her, hey, we're getting a lot of food. We are going to have some customizations. And she was here for it. Like, there was no,
another podcaster.
Yeah. She didn't take a deep breath to brace herself or anything. She was just ready.
Yeah.
And I appreciated the attitude. But then when we got to the table, she was bringing the food to us.
She could have just been like, order up.
Yeah.
And then like, get your ass over here.
That's what you expect at a place like this. So she would come to the table. She would ask, like, do you need anything? This turned into essentially a waiting experience, which for a Dairy Queen,
Unbelievable.
That's
never happened to me in my whole life. It's also of note that we were, for the first probably 20 minutes, the only people there. This was kind of an empty parking lot outside. We can get to the negatives, but at some point, but it was kind of a positive though, that like we had the whole place to ourselves until like 3 other people came in, but they were gone very quickly.
Yeah, I think it was just like pickup orders or something like that. Yeah.
We were the only people dining there. So we did get a special exclusive service.
Yeah, she was hustling.
Yeah.
She really was. Patient, goes the extra mile. The only knock on service, I'm not even going to save for later because it's so minuscule. And they were getting drive-through orders, and given how empty the interior was, I get it, so I'm not going to dock them. But a couple of times I went up to go to the counter to ask something because we deferred our banana split for later. We were like, oh, we'll bring that out after the meal. Mm-hmm. So I go up to try and find her, and like I have to like catch her like while she's walking from the front to the back.
I think only 2 people were working there.
There were 3.
There were 3?
There were 3.
It was like a cook and somebody at the drive-through.
Yeah.
And then her.
But like I could tell she was the manager, so it was she was managing, you know.
You know what I liked about it? Everyone who worked there was a human being, unlike McDonald's where you go in there now and you got to like consult with the like 2001 A Space Odyssey monolith.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Tyler. Yeah.
Right. No, not just accepting your debit card right now.
I'm going 2 thumbs up on service, which is like crazy for a fast food restaurant. Usually to get 2 thumbs up, you have to be like a table service place.
I
but
wish
this turned into that.
There should be like scouts for servers who are like, you're ready to go to the big leagues.
Like someone that looks like Agent Smith from The Matrix just hands her a business card and it just has an address on it, not even a number.
And it's like a 4-star restaurant, like a Michelin.
Yeah.
Or whatever the stars
doesn't
are.
have a time. It's just, you have to always be. They never talk about that in movies, how like when you give a card with just an address, sure, it's mysterious, but like the person must go at least once and be like, oh, no one's here. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think she's ready for an upgrade.
Yeah.
But
all right. The Flamethrower.
Yeah, the burger.
The Flamethrower burger. Because this is September, we're not going to give our scores so that you don't know exactly how it ranks. We will also, if Dairy Queen advances, because this would not be a round 1 burger, we will talk about it more in depth at the end of September. September-ger. But I mean, technically, both of those things, they're the same thing.
Yeah.
And so they had this burger called the Flamethrower. It had bacon, lettuce, tomato, plus Flamethrower sauce, which is like this peppery,
delicious sauce that like kicked my ass spice-wise, but I had a great time. That's how tasty it was.
Which was funny. I asked the woman behind the counter, I was like, is this spicy? She's like, no. Like confused that I would even ask. And then you take your first bite and you're like, oh God, this is kicking my ass.
It's called the Flamethrower.
No,
I mean,
look, I get you. And like, I definitely got the kick from it. Like, I'm not going to say it was devoid of spice by any means. It was an enjoyable level of spice for me.
It was an enjoyable level of arsonry in my mouth.
And it was very tasty.
Yeah, no, loved it. And like we said before, we would probably go and get that like as our meal next time we go.
Yes, I do think that the Flamethrower would become my default hot food order at a Dairy Queen. Flamethrower and a Blizzard.
The perfect balance.
Yeah.
It's been found.
We also got a banana split, and we did this because, as I mentioned last week, it was the nostalgic thing for me. In a normal world, I'd get us dipped cones. That just seems like the thing you do at Dairy Queen. I opted for the banana split because that's what my memories were. My grandfather would take me to go, actually for a while, get dipped cones, but eventually I learned I liked banana split. And the way I remember it at the little shack Dairy Queen I used to go to in Illinois was you would pick the 3 toppings you want on each, because it's like 3 scoops of ice cream, whipped cream, bananas, nuts are optional, and then 3 toppings, 1 for each of the scoops.
And we got little pineapple pieces, didn't
So we got strawberry, pineapple, and chocolate, which is what they default with. But I used to have like the option of cherry, of butterscotch, caramel, and then the ones that we got, strawberry,
pineapple,
chocolate.
and chocolate. Yeah.
So
Incredible.
there were options. I think what I always used to do was chocolate, caramel, and cherry.
Okay.
But I really liked all of these offerings. The chocolate sauce tasted artificial in the way that is nostalgic for a Dairy Queen, I guess.
Yeah. It was in a machine for, probably a week before it got to us, and that's okay. It was well maintained. I'd never had the split before from there.
Okay.
So
are you a banana split guy? Do you ever get them?
No, never.
Is this your first banana split?
No. I have as a
okay.
kid, but I think as soon as I was living life on my own, I just, banana splits were just not in my repertoire.
Yeah.
No, but this was amazing and incredible because we'd had so much food before we got to the banana split. It was the last thing we got.
Right.
And we started with dessert. So normally when I don't bookend a meal with desserts. There's a lot of dessert.
You haven't lived.
I know. Now I have. And I like it.
What do you think of the strawberry and pineapple? Because the strawberry, that's a thing I expect on ice cream. I'm used to it, had a strawberry sauce on it. And I was like, yeah, this tastes like what I expect and it's good. The pineapple felt like a wild card of I've not had it on ice cream before. I don't know how it's going to mix with, because when I think pineapple, I don't think cold.
Yeah. It's like a warm treat usually if you're having like a slice of pineapple or just like room temp.
Room temp, yeah. But like sometimes they'll grill a pineapple and put it on a burger or something. And you'll have something like Hawaiian style or with like pulled pork or something like that. So to put it with ice cream just felt like so far away from where I'm used to seeing pineapple in my own meals.
Same. Yeah. It was new for me. It was innovative. And I can see why it's their default, though.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
It was like little cubes on top. And then I don't think there was like a pineapple sauce, right? It was just the cubed pineapple.
Just the cubes.
I thought I saw like a yellow sauce, but it was probably just like the whipped cream melting and like absorbing the color of the pineapple around it. But like those little chunks added a lot. It added a very unique texture that I didn't dislike. And especially with nuts, they had like little crushed up walnuts that they put on it.
Those were great.
That also added a lot to this. This banana split was scratching the itch that I wanted for that nostalgic dessert.
Yeah.
I went 8 out of 10 on the banana split. I thought this was a great little dessert.
Yeah, I would say 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'll mention, it felt very cold.
Yeah.
Which, like, I know it's ice cream and stuff, but I know that Dairy Queen, again, their whole marketing is like very cold. This did feel like freshly out of the cooling machine,
right.
whether it was a freezer, whether it was a soft serve container, whatever it was very cold, but didn't brain freeze me. So I didn't mind it.
So not too cold.
Not too cold for me to handle. I liked it.
Beautiful experience. And I'm happy you got to reconnect with your grandfather via me as a medium portal.
And that's all the things I have in the good category.
Yeah.
Not because there was a ton of not good, not because it's just there weren't a ton of elements to this meal.
It was clean.
It was very clean.
Yeah, I would say overall the interior was well taken care of. There was really no one there
to mess it up.
Yeah, exactly.
There weren't 7 kids running around like in that one Yelp review.
It's in a little strip mall that feels, like some of the businesses might be struggling. It's not a
very lively area.
Right. Yeah, there were some kids fighting down the street we saw, but
did we?
I saw, yeah. I was like, look, kid fight happening. And then as soon as you look, they stopped fighting. But yeah, so that was some local entertainment. But beyond that, it doesn't seem like this is the most happening place to be in town. So maybe not too hard to keep clean.
So that's all for the good for you?
Yep.
All right. Let's jump in and complain for a little bit. Let's talk about everything that was not good.
This is not so good. I'm not quite sure about it. Could have done without it. The stuff that brings down the mood. This is just not very good.
I'm just going to come out and say it. It's false advertising when you have a sign that says DQ cakes and there's no asses to be found. Look, in today's modern environment, cake means ass. Like, oh man, they're so caked up. They've got that big ass. No asses.
You were hoping for like an ass cake.
Instead, there was just a freezer full of cakes.
Regular old cakes. Yeah. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Thank you.
That must have been rough.
It was difficult, but I grew as a person.
Well, you live and learn.
And not where it counts. My ass is the same size.
Maybe even a little bigger after that milkshake or that banana split. Yeah, I would say that did not even occur to me personally until you mentioned it. But
I'm a degenerate.
The first thing that happened that was negative was we pulled up. There's basically one or two cars in the parking lot. And the day is kind of overcast. It's about to rain. And then this building looks a little run down from the outside. And the windows are so dark and it's so dark inside. I hopped out of the car to see if it was even open.
Yeah.
And it was. But the open sign was not turned on.
It looked dead. And the feeling of just how disheartening it is when you've driven an hour to get there. Now, I checked Yelp and it said opens at 11
right
today. Like I checked that morning to like confirm, hey, has this business gone out of business since I made plans to come here with Tyler over the course of the last month? We did have the backup option of there is another DQ Grill and Chill 6 miles away from that one. So it wouldn't have been the end of the world unless they were both closed. That would be devastating.
Yeah.
Then I think the nearest one is like Huntington Beach or something like that.
I would have had to say, hey, man, I only got so much Saturday available.
And I would have said, nope, you are in my car. You are a captive. But luckily that wasn't the case. You did go in and.
Yeah, I was like, hey, it was kind of a dumb question by the time the door was open. But I was like, hey, are you guys open? And she was like, yeah.
I think the phrasing that would have made you sound the smartest would have been, hey, are you guys aware that your open sign is not on?
But it was good news. I turned around, gave Michael a couple thumbs up, and then he parked and we got on with our meal. So just an initial hiccup.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the main thing we're complaining about is their sign wasn't on. But that doesn't undo the feeling in the pit of my stomach that I had driving up.
Right.
The oh no of it all.
What have I done?
I will put the sides in not good.
Onion rings and fries is what we got.
We got onion rings and fries, and they both, like, the sauces made them tolerable.
Yes.
But, like, they were both really weak. And, like, I love an onion ring. I only ate one. Because I was like, yeah, I get it. I get what theirs tastes like, and I don't need more of it.
I ate the rest of them, but only because I needed a gravy delivery mechanism, and getting more gravy into my mouth was the goal. And the onion rings were there for that.
Right.
But I could have used a spoon and had just as good of a time.
And for me, it was the fries. For me, it was the fries with the honey mustard sauce, and that would be a crazy thing to just spoon. I mean, eating gravy with a spoon is also psychotic.
Hi, we'll just have the sides, please, or just the dips, and a couple spoons.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the fries were just over the top, like lifeless. There was nothing to it.
I went 4 out of 10 on the fries.
Yeah, without the dips, it would have been. I said 6. I said great with the barbecue sauce. That's more a review of the barbecue sauce than the fries.
Look, man, again, you don't have to agree with me. Like, don't let me influence your food scores. I'm not the end all be all. My palate is that of a child.
Look, sometimes you have an experience in the moment and then you reflect on it the next day or a week later, since we've been sitting here for a week.
I just want you to stand by your convictions. So if you have them, push back against me.
Barely. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not going to fight you on the fries. I did find them to be quite bland, but the barbecue sauce, not bad. Like we said well, this is a different thing, but the burger that was supposed to have more barbecue sauce.
It was A1 sauce, not barbecue sauce.
Okay, well, it really needed more sauce.
Yeah.
And so the sauce is doing a lot in Dairy Queen.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then the onion rings, I wrote plain and flavorless, which is like, sure, that should technically be neutral. It didn't have like an offensive taste, but when you weigh plain and flavorless against my usual enjoyment of onion rings, it comes up way shorter and becomes this disappointment, creating a negative experience. I love onion rings.
What about, like, do you like Sonic onion rings, like different fast food?
It's been such a long time since I've had Sonic that I couldn't tell you specifically.
They're good.
I do remember I went to Arctic Circle, which is a kind of a Dairy Queen competitor in Utah in the Pacific Northwest. And they have Spanish onion rings, which is just like a slightly sweeter onion.
Okay.
That I remember really enjoying. So in recent memory, that's one that stands out to me. But I love an onion ring a lot of places.
DQ, just not cutting it. Sorry.
DQ, not cutting it with onion rings. And then there was a burger that falls into the not good for me. The loaded double A1 burger.
A disaster of a burger.
So this has an onion ring. This has A1 steak sauce. If you want cheese on it, it can have cheese. And then 2 patties and a bun that I don't know if it was toasted or not. Didn't really
Didn't feel like
particularly like love was put into it. But I took my first bite of this and the sauce was not distributed well enough.
Nope.
So either they skimped on it or just the bun absorbed it all or whatever. Very dry.
And then the onion ring, just as bland as the ones we had separately. So
you would think that like with a barbecue sauce, but again, it was an A1 sauce, which I don't particularly love. I don't eat steaks with A1 sauce. I eat steaks with just kind of their natural juices. And then like, I'll cook it in like olive oil or butter or something like that. But like, I'm not dipping the steak once I've made it.
Yeah. It was no Flamethrower burger, I will say. It was our least favorite of the burgers. And
yes.
Yeah, kind of by a long shot. And it was in the middle of the meal. It was the second of the 3 we ate, which should have been to its benefit, I think. But
I will say this. None of the burgers had like cooled off. Like, I feel like we ate them still pretty warm. It wasn't like
we were moving. Yeah,
we were moving. And I don't think that the quality of the burgers suffered substantially from the fact that we just had to take time for each one.
Yeah.
I think that any shortcomings on these burgers fall on the burgers. Whereas sometimes I'll go to a restaurant and it's like, I got to that burger a little late because I ate the halves of the 2 other burgers.
Right.
Wasn't the case here.
Yeah, some burgers, they just don't travel well if you get them to go. These only traveled 25 feet. A Lynchian bathroom, door to toilet distance, I will say.
That is the measurement. A Lynchian bathroom is door to toilet 25 feet. That is a standardized unit of measurement that we all know and are familiar with. And my audience is now on board. The atmosphere of this place, I will give 1 thumb down. It was very clean, and I give them that. Nothing about the interior of this Dairy Queen made me happy. The fact that the outside, like, you have outdoor tables, and I get it's supposed to rain, but like chairs chained together, the umbrellas aren't open.
Yeah, it was a little like, don't sit on the patio.
It was a little drab. And then just kind of a more corporate fast food restaurant these days. The interior is almost designed to repel you. I don't mean that in like it's gross or repulsive. I mean that in they want faster turnover. They don't want people lingering in their restaurants. A lot of these fast food places are trying to combat unhoused people chilling there for too long. So they make it aesthetically unappealing. Not that this was gross. Like the wall decor, there's like a sign that just says burgers on the wall, and then it's just a bunch of advertising, and then a false advertising DQ cakes, no asses.
Yeah, that's got to be the worst of it all. I will say there was a clash happening with the 1950s throwback feel of Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
All the photos are black and white, like, oh, look at the olden days, yada, yada. But the music blasting was super modern. And so, like, not that they
like
have
All American Rejects was one of the songs.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not that they have to play old school music to really like create the vibe, but it was a little odd. Like you go into
what do you expect, Sinatra
maybe
in a Dairy Queen?
I just think it's like pick a lane, like modernize some of the photos if you're going to go with All American Rejects.
Sure.
That's my take, and I'm sticking to it.
You know what? They should exclusively play No Doubt.
Yes. I mean, Gwen Stefani, how long did she work in that Dairy Queen with her
Don't
brother?
know. All I know is that she was working there when they founded their band.
They should have her face plastered in the wall of every Dairy Queen in America.
Unless she flat out doesn't want to. Maybe she had a bad time working there and was like, no, screw you.
True.
That's how I am with Paramount.
Calling them out.
I'm never going to watch Yellowstone. I'm not missing anything.
Yeah. It's weird, though, because they've digitally added you into the show as part of you working as a tour guide.
They got my right. Yeah, I'm just in the background, and you'll see over here the Bronson Gate.
Yes.
Yeah. No, my parents love Yellowstone, and I feel the ultimate betrayal that they know how Paramount treated me, and they still shell out money every month for their network.
Right into Taylor Sheridan's pockets.
Can't believe it.
I would love to work on one of his shows one day,
if he would have me.
If I'm looking for work.
Yeah.
Which I might be soon. Anyway.
All right. Yeah, so just like I think if they just put a little bit more effort into the decor beyond cleanliness, like there's nothing on this specific franchise, like this location, I'm not calling out. It's just like the Dairy Queen
I'd love for them
aesthetic.
to lean more into the monarchy,
I would too.
Like, why not? Like, White Castle is a literal castle.
Why didn't we order from someone wearing a cape?
It's a good question.
Why didn't they demand their employees lay on the ground so they could step across them so that they wouldn't get their shoes dirty? That's what I want to see from management.
Feathered pens to like finish the receipts.
Yeah.
Like old ink scrolls.
Yeah. Can you sign this receipt? Here's a quill.
Yeah.
This is an actual bird's feather.
Life should be fun. I feel like we're not exploiting it enough.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else in not good for you? Is everything else just there?
Kids were fighting outside. I felt threatened.
Okay.
No, I think that's it. Yeah.
All right. Let's jump into everything that was just there.
This is a weird one. I'm not quite sure what to say about it. Yeah. This is for the stuff that is just there.
So for me, the chicken strips were kind of the epitome of just there. The gravy even was just there. The chicken strips, I just thought they were kind of plain. Like my first bite of it, I was like, oh, okay. And then like it real quickly, like in my mouth, changed.
I noticed that you only had one of them. And
there were three.
I found myself finishing a lot of the items.
I'm also, again, I'm trying to like not go overboard on my eating.
True.
And if I'm trying a bunch of stuff and two of the things are desserts,
I had plenty of room in my belly. So I was going for it. I had planned mentally to sort of roll out of the Dairy Queen. And so I was filling up, and the gravy kind of hit for me, I will say. I think we have a disagreement here.
That's fine.
It was the warmth that the fries, the onion rings, and the chicken tenders needed, and was a good distraction from the blandness.
And I will say, I did think that the chicken fingers were like properly hot. They were not cooled off by any means. So they had a fighting chance, and it got them out of the not good into the just there for me. I went 5.5 on the chicken strips. Very slightly above average, but still, I'm not out here bragging about what the chicken strips bring to the table.
I also said 5 out of 10, totally average, just the right amount of heat, well cooked, a little basic, nothing special.
There you go. And then the gravy. Yeah. Here's the one thing. I appreciate that they had gravy. It's such a unique offering. The only other fast food places I can think of that have gravy in any form on the menu are Popeyes and KFC.
Yep.
And I would imagine Raising Cane's does, but I don't.
Never seen it.
I don't go there often enough to know definitively.
I do, and they don't have it.
They don't have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though they have Texas toast, which would be great with gravy.
Yeah. And so the KFC and Popeyes, you only get them on the mashed potatoes, and it's a brown gravy. This was a white gravy. A little bit different, but the idea that they're actually like serving it up as an offered side, I appreciate that. And I kind of wish more places would offer their own gravies.
Completely agree. Gravy's great when done well. Yeah, because the other dips were good, but there's no heat to them. You're kind of just doing it just for the flavor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, more gravy, please.
I'm just going to isolate that.
Dear world, we
More
could
gravy, please. It's just big old baby Tyler in a diaper.
less spice, more gravy.
More
Thank
gravy.
you. More gravy.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I don't know why I'm forcing this baby bit in there, but whatever.
He's been treating me like a baby all day.
I've just been swaddling you because you looked cold.
He put an extra pillow behind me so I wouldn't roll over in my sleep.
Why are you sleeping during my show? Yeah, and then the last thing I have in just there is the first burger on the September menu. The number one, the bacon double deluxe or whatever it was.
Something like that.
And this was onion, lettuce, bacon, pickle, ketchup, mayo, bun that this one in particular had a little bit of crisp to it, as did the Flamethrower.
Mm-hmm.
The A1 did not. And the burger patty was kind of my only thing giving me pause here, but the ingredients work together. I'm not going to go too far into it because we do have to discuss it in 6 months for September. But I will say it was just there for an entry-level burger. It's not bad.
Underwhelming. It's a burger. We ate it.
Again, this was I feel like this was a pretty uneventful experience. There just wasn't a lot
happening.
A stimuli to really talk about.
Yeah.
I guess there was one piece of decor that was like a big cardboard fridge that was like 20% open, and you like look inside and there's like a little DQ ice cream also made of cardboard or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But it gives the impression that it wants you to grab the handles and open it. And I tried and I just ended up bonking myself in the head by pulling the cardboard standee onto me.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
And it got you
It's
good.
a death trap. And that's what the kids were fighting over.
Yeah.
Well, he like sent his brother to be like, hey, but you did that. And he didn't. Oh, did that story make sense?
No, totally.
I think I just told it verbatim how it should go.
That was beautifully told.
Thank you.
That's a very older brother. My older brother would do all kinds of pranks on me as a kid. You know, stick your finger in the socket and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
The food overall, I would say, is just there. It had some highs. It had some lows. The desserts, like I'm not going to go one thumb up on food.
One thumb up on food. That's fine.
The strength of desserts. Yeah. You know, when I go to a place and I give a 10 to anything,
it was good.
I'll go one thumb up on food, but it's like it's strongly held by that blizzard.
What it made me think was that they had the business right to begin with in the first 15 years before they opened up the doors to the food.
Yeah.
They don't really even need it, but they're probably...
I think they just wanted to be competitive.
Yes. They're like, we don't want to be, TCBY or Baskin Robbins. Yogurtland. We have to like expand the palette.
Yeah.
But they're just not as good at that side of things.
I don't know, man. I like that Flamethrower.
Okay.
That Flamethrower would not an hour drive, but it would bring me back to a dairy. If I'm on the road and I see a Dairy Queen and I'm hungry, I'll be like, oh, you know what? I'll stop for a Flamethrower.
They ought to rebrand as like Fire and Ice, like we got real spicy food and real cool desserts.
They should have partnered with Game of Thrones when it was at its peak, A Song of Ice and Fire.
That would be great. And they got the monarchy thing. They got the full, they could have Daenerys as the Dairy Queen herself. I could see a toy tie-in.
Yeah. I don't think they do like Happy Meal toy type things at Dairy Queen.
And that's why they'll never be the top dog.
And that's why they'll never be the top dog. And that's everything that was just there. We have to put all of these considerations into a score, into a rating, so that Dairy Queen can go up on the tchotchke of mediocrity and we can see, is it the most mediocre restaurant in America? But before we do that, Tyler, I've gone to 90-something restaurants in the run of this show. I'm very calibrated. I'm very honed in on my own scale. This is your first time on the Fine Dining Podcast. Therefore, I'm going to ask you to calibrate your scale by telling me what is your 0, what is your 10, the best restaurant experience you've ever had and the worst restaurant experience you've ever had in this week's Calibration Station.
Calibration Station, comparing this meal to the best of the worst. Calibration Station, chugga, 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 choo, choo.
All right, Tyler, the floor is yours. Start with whichever one you want. You don't have to go like crazy on it, but tell me about it.
I'll start with the positive, and I've never forgotten this. It was Valentine's Day 2008.
Okay.
And
17 years ago. That's wild.
It's we went to the Melting Pot, which is
okay.
a fondue
I know
restaurant. And, just like the gravy brings the heat, this whole meal is all about the heat. You start with some hot cheese in a fondue pot that's just melting on the table in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're dipping meats,
bread.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's a cheese course, an oil course.
Yes.
And then a chocolate
And then
course.
a chocolate. And at the end is unbelievable. They put strawberries. You just kind of like stab a strawberry out of a bowl and then you dip it into the chocolate and kind of swirl it around. And I just was like, the relationship didn't work out, but this was truly my Valentine, was this meal.
Have you been back to one since?
No, which is crazy.
There's one in Thousand Oaks. I went for the show.
Okay.
And I do think that like the oil and chocolate, because I don't eat cheese, but
Right.
the oil and chocolate part, genuinely, I'll go back to a Melting Pot despite the amount of cheese I'm surrounded by.
Michael, let's go.
Okay.
I do love melted cheese. I love cheese in general. And yeah, I don't know why I haven't been back. I think it's expensive.
Yeah.
And so for me,
And it's not close.
Yeah. I had to go deep into Houston from Sugar Land, so I had to drive like 45 minutes to an hour to get to this one.
Yeah.
But it was worth it. And yeah, the rest of the day just paled in comparison to that meal. Anyway,
So that's your 10.
that's my 10.
Let's bring it down.
My 0. Okay. I went to Europe with my older brother and we were having a real bad day. He was having sort of a crisis where he felt like we shouldn't be on the trip. We were given this very nice trip as like a gift.
Oh, wow.
As I was graduating this is the year after the Melting Pot. As I graduated high school and he had graduated college. And we were in Bath, England, and it was a beautiful place, and he was just not enjoying the trip because he's like, I should be at home working this summer, yada yada, just like kind of going through it. And I'm like, okay, we need like a reset, like we need something nice. There's this pizza place like right down the street. Let's go do that. Let's like relax, like find like a nice place to eat. And so we go there. We get the pizza to go and we take it to this nice park nearby next to all this like Gothic cathedral architecture. It's beautiful. We open it up and we're like, all right, finally, we're going to have some peace. And a bird shits on the pizza.
Oh, no.
Our savior is shat upon. And we just kind of like had like a sitcom-y pause.
Like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yes. But we started laughing and it kind of like broke our minds. And it was, a horrible meal.
Because you ate around it.
We did. We
No.
did. We ate around it.
No.
Because it only landed and splat.
Tyler.
I know. I was young. I was 19 and I know. Look, it's not a story I'm proud of.
You're the 0 out of 10 in this story.
No, the pizza was good, but it was, there was some extra flavoring added by nature
Jesus.
itself. We didn't eat bird shit. We just ate pizza that was near bird shit. And that's a difference that I think is important here to remember. But yeah, that's my 0. That was the worst meal of my life.
You know how sometimes when like blood rushes to your face, like the perimeter of your vision starts to close in? That's what I'm feeling right now after that revelation.
Are you passing out?
I think I'm passing out.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I'll make sure all the cameras get turned off.
All right. Well, from bird shit to the melting pot, somewhere in between those two lies Dairy Queen. We're going to find out as we get our final rating.
Final rating.
This is the moment we've been waiting for. It is time to reveal the final score.
Okay, Tyler.
Yeah.
We got to put a number on this.
Yep.
Give a recap of the whole experience, the factors that are weighing one way or another. Is the good prevailing? Is the not good prevailing? Is it closer to 0? Is it closer to 10? Which side of 5 is it on? Which side of Cracker Barrel is it on?
It just, because of the flamethrower and the Lynchian bathroom that I enjoyed, it and the service being great.
And the blizzard.
And the blizzard being fucking incredible, it does nudge it above the average for me and gets it more towards melting pot than bird shit. And on my scale.
What an endorsement.
and I believe the number that I gave it is 6.22, which ain't bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am a little bit lower than you, but I am very close. I did think all of those factors worked well. I had a number in mind, and then I cross-referenced a bunch of restaurants that I've already scored and tried to play, like, in my mind, which experiences is it better than, which ones is it worse than? And what I arrived at was a 5.94. which to me is like the high end of average. To me, a 6 is kind of that threshold that turns something from average to good.
Okay.
And I thought this was approaching that. The service far surpassed my expectations for a Dairy Queen.
It's not what I thought we were going to get.
The Blizzard was incredible. The Flamethrower was a very enjoyable burger.
Yeah.
And then it kind of fell short on a lot of other metrics. The place was uninspired. There were no asses.
That brought it down, I think, probably 3 points for you.
If not more. My score for Dairy Queen is a 5.94, which means when you put your score together with my score, Dairy Queen Grill and Chill goes up on the tchotchke of mediocrity at a 6.08.
6.08. Congratulations, Dairy Queen. You are above average.
Which puts it 1/100th below Whataburger.
I find that to be
Whataburger's
horrific.
Kind of gone downhill because they sold to a company out of Texas.
Oh.
I don't know when the last time you had Whataburger was, but
very recently, over the holidays.
Yeah, they are a little bit different. There are still some really solid things about Whataburger. Also, eating in a Whataburger is also not always the nicest experience. It depends on which one.
I rarely do that. It's mostly a drive-through, like with my mom on the way back from the airport or something.
But this did not beat Whataburger. So Whataburger is still a superior restaurant per the tchotchke of mediocrity than Dairy Queen Grill and Chill. That said, this goes to prove how far service can take you in an experience. And it also means that Dairy Queen Grill and Chill is definitively better than mediocre.
Better than mediocre. It's better than a Cracker Barrel. Yeah.
And also what that means is it is not the perfect 5.00 out of 10, which means I got to go somewhere next week.
The journey continues for Michael.
The search does, in fact, continue. So I have to go to the You Must Bowl and draw a restaurant that I must go to next week. Are you ready to find out?
I think I am.
Next week, I will be going to
Panera Bread.
I will be going to Panera Bread.
Panera, you know what? When I think Panera, I do think average. So
we'll find out. Tyler, thanks so much for joining me. You have been an above average guest.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Michael.
Which is the greatest compliment one can pay.
This has been, there wasn't enough dancing in this podcast for me, as you can tell from
knowing your cinematic
my chops,
flavors, that you like.
But it's okay. It's way above bird shit and under the melting pot. But I had a great time. And
let's do like just like 10 seconds of dancing. Is that what dancing is to you? That is so much eye contact.
There's only so much I can do with a microphone in front of me. I mean, what do you want? We don't have music playing.
I don't know, but this is great. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming along. Tell people where they can find you on social media, where they can find Mysterious Ways.
I am mostly on Instagram at Tyler Harris Eaton. There's also the Mysterious Ways Instagram, which is at Mysterious Ways Movie. We'll be posting teasers, trailers, behind the scenes content as the movie comes out. We're aiming for Easter. So it'll be, sometime in April. So very soon after these podcasts are released. Check it out, stay posted, and I'd love to follow you as well. See what you're up to.
That sounded so creepy. And you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok and Blue Sky at Fine Dining Podcast. I have a Discord now. You can find the link to that in the description of this episode, as well as on my website. I'd love for you to come and join the conversation. Tell me places you want to see me go next. I'm very active there, so if you just want to chat, come say hi, or even just lurk around. Both are totally fine. I'd love to see you there. In the meantime, we did not find the most mediocre restaurant in America. The search does, in fact, continue. We'll see you next time.
Have a fine day.
The search continues. We still need the perfect five. The search continues. Like and subscribe. The search continues. Our journey did not conclude. The mother effing search continues. Write us an iTunes review. And hey, while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and make it 5 stars, huh? Come on. Follow us on TikTok, the same on Instagram, all the socials at Fine Dining Podcast. We have a website, finediningpodcast.com. Buy our t-shirts, then put them on. And don't forget, you can always suggest where we go next. Okay, we're going to find it. Mediocrity. The search continues. See you next week. Hurt my throat a little.
Have a fine day.